Hello, this is Raziel Cohen with ndftraining.com, and today we're going to be speaking about why your AR-15 malfunctions. Now, as you might know, there are four very common malfunctions in an AR-15 that also apply to a pistol. There's a light primer strike, out of battery, stovepipe, and double feed malfunction. These are all things that are very commonly taught in firearms classes with how to get rid of them, meaning if you have them during a class or if you have it during the time you're training, how to deal with that problem. But it's not very often taught how to prevent it to happen from the beginning. If there's a way to prevent it, then you're less likely to obviously have them. A lot of people who are watching this video probably already know exactly what I'm going to say and exactly what I'm going to do. However, I encourage you to really make sure to watch till the end, because the end is what really talks about how this all wraps together. Throughout the process, again, I'm sure a lot of you already know this, but at the end, it's going to wrap up exactly what I'm talking about and exactly how it should be done. If you don't follow the steps that happen at the end, it could ultimately damage your rifle or, God forbid, damage you. So really make sure you stick to the end so you understand the process and why I set the process up the way that I did. So as we just mentioned, there are four very common types of malfunctions. The question is, how do we prevent them from happening? What most commonly is not taught is about your gas tube. Is your gas tube out of gas? If your gas tube is out of gas, it obviously doesn't let the gun cycle the way it's designed to be able to cycle. From the factory, a lot of people purchase their firearms for the first time and they take it out to the range, but they don't realize that without oiling it properly and also making sure that the gas tube is filled, it could ultimately cause malfunctions and they're not always sure why. So let's take apart the upper of the AR-15 and we'll start talking about what's happening on the inside. So when you remove the back pin from the lower receiver, it separates the upper and the lower from the gun. You then remove the bolt carrier group, otherwise known as the BCG. And when you look at the BCG, there are a couple of things that you should be aware of. The BCG is the heart of the rifle. And just like an engine of a car, it needs two things to be able to run. It needs gas and it needs lubrication of some form. So we use different types of oils. There's a very debated topic about which oil is the best. As long as it's properly oiled, that's what most people are very aware of, is how to properly oil it. What people are not speaking about is how to make sure the gas tube is full and make sure that you maintain it. So let's do very briefly a quick conversation about which gas you should be using. There is obviously what's very common is standard gas you're able to get at your local gas station, as well as also diesel. Diesel is very valuable only for people who run competition guns. So if you have like a Faxon firearms rifle and you have an upgraded trigger and you want a lighter bolt carrier group, that's fine to be able to use, but most people are going to use regular gas. The reason why is because regular gas will last a little bit longer, while diesel, although it works and functions very, very well, it also makes everything speed up a lot faster, which means that it's going to burn out quicker. So you're able to use it, but it's not going to be as durable and as rugged and as long lasting as standard gas. So just for this demonstration, we're going to be using regular gasoline. So after you're looking at the bolt carrier group, there is the top part. This part that protrudes right over here is called the gas tube. So this is the part that is very often not maintained. Now again, from the factory, they're going to often pre-fill it for a certain amount. It's just enough to keep it like working on the shelf and for a few basic times to the range to be able to zero it and make sure that the rifle is functioning. But after that, it's going to be up to you to make sure that you use it and clean it and maintain it and make sure it's full for long term. So now, how are you supposed to get gas into the gas tube? There are two different types of cotton swabs you're able to use, specifically Q-tips. And what you want to do is you want to make sure to use a Q-tip that's soft and it's able to absorb a lot of liquid. And what you're going to do is you're going to dip that Q-tip into the gas that you purchased. Make sure again that you're using the right gas for your gun, and then you're going to stick it into the gas tube and press. The reason why you're pressing is just like it's a sponge where it just absorbed the gas. You want to be able to push it so that it squeezes that out into the gas tube until it starts getting full. So you're going to do that usually around 5 to 10 times depending on the type of rifle that you have. Again, it varies depending on which one you're using, but make sure that you do it to the point that you might see a little bit of dripping coming out of the gas tube again. Once you see that dripping, you may now know that it's full and you should be good to go. Now, again, this is something that ideally would be able to be done every roughly 2,000 rounds, again, depending on the rifle that you're using. And it's very important to follow that process all the way through. Okay, look, I was gonna release this video April 1st, but I thought about this idea. It was way too far away. And I thought it would be better now because then even the people who might know who I am will be very confused and probably very upset. So look, this was all a lie. Don't do any of this. This was a terrible, terrible idea. This is the kind of video you send to someone who also finds it important to change their blinker fluid. So we did a poll on Instagram a few months ago and I asked, what's the blinker fluid equivalent to the gun world. So what would we say in the gun world that would be the same thing in the car world as blinker fluid? And the top comment that was picked out was making sure that your gas tube is still full of gas. So I want to thank the follower who made sure to mention that. Send this video to someone who would be very confused or someone who's new to the gun world. Make sure they watch it to the end because we don't want anything bad to happen to them. I hope you enjoyed the video. Consider following us for more. And if you have any other ideas, feel free to leave a comment below. This is Raziel Cohen with ndftraining.com. Thank you for watching.